Monica, Momo in the house.
Hello.
Wow. Okay, so I am so excited to have you all meet Momo because Momo is part of my world from before I ever became chronically ill, actually. And I was working at a gym called Indy Fast here in Indianapolis, and she was one of the clients there, and she was like steady Eddie, like she was there all the time. It was just part of her spirituality. You could just tell. And then evidently that spirituality took a hold of her because the spirit took her over and said, girl, you need to leave this full-time job. I have a different mission for you. And you are out here and you need to help women be strong, inside and out. And I think that's one of the things that we have not like talked about yet on this podcast is the importance of our vessel. Because I'm all about like, I may be chronically ill, I may be a chunky butt, I may be all these other things, but I I don't do as good of a job of integrating my like love for myself and self-care and all that other stuff with my vessel part. And so, but when I think about the importance of like muscle mass and like bone density and things like that, like
Yep.
that's so important as we age. And I remember when you and I were working together at the gym about how people I don't want to bulk up and I would have so many people come into the gym and I don't want to be feminine. And luckily now I think there's a little bit more like I'm a woman that's jacked is sexy. Like I think
Yeah.
there's more of that coming around. But at
Yep.
the time when people would be like, I don't want to look masculine, that I would always think of you because like you lift heavy shit and yet, you still have a pretty feminine physique, and so
I
like,
know.
yeah,
I don't look like the Hulk, I don't
no,
think.
no, no, no. And so I was just like, okay, because when I thought of like powerlifting, like that you were like what came to mind, and yet, people, and yet the people that want to bulk like that, like it's an intentional choice,
You have
and
to work so dang hard at that. Yeah.
yes, yes. But as
You
we get
That
older,
doesn't happen,
like
that doesn't happen accidentally.
right, I accidentally hulked on myself,
Yeah.
and but then like when we as we get older, like recovery changes and hormones they start acting
Yeah.
like microwave popcorn and stuff. And
Yep.
meanwhile most women were raised to believe that fitness should make them like smaller instead of stronger.
Right. Right.
And so I'm really excited about having you come in. You picked the word strong,
Mhm.
and as a personal trainer, and so you're the owner of Movement with Momo, and
Correct.
I'm excited about having this conversation about strength training, entrepreneurship, muscles, confidence, and why lifting weights after 40 has way more to do with identity and confidence and taking up space than chasing some sad little number on a scale.
Exactly.
Mm,
Yes.
mm,
Yes.
mm.
Yeah. Of course I had to
Yes,
pick the word strong. I mean, that was the obvious choice, right?
that's right. Yeah, it is a sexy word. So,
Yeah.
so why strong though? Why is it an important conversation for women over 40 to have specifically?
Well, I think strong is more than just building muscle or being strong physically, because
Mhm.
I've seen the transformation in my clients that once they get into a routine and develop a consistent habit, lifting weights and becoming more healthy, they feel better. And
Yep.
that kind of just bleeds into other areas of their life. They have more confidence because
Mm.
they didn't think they could lift, maybe 200 pounds for a deadlift. And all of a sudden they do that and they're like, wow, I have this confidence. Like they feel confident, they feel capable. Um,
Mhm.
and they're also resilient.
Yes.
Um, and independent, and they don't have to rely on other people to do things for them because they're strong enough to do it for themselves. So it just kind of, when I think of strong, it's not just a physical thing, it's like all these
Yeah.
other words, um, just about your personality. Like I feel like I became a different person, a better person once I started
Yes.
lifting heavy weights. you
Yeah,
know
because it isn't about just being strong with like lifting stuff. It's about figuring how to maximize and leverage the strengths that we have in our bodies, like not shrinking from, our needs, not shrinking from our lives. Like how do we have a lot to carry? And so
yeah.
how do we make sure, and I think that for that the body is such a natural like symbol of everything else that we're doing. And so if you can make that connection, then like
Mhm.
game on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you the confidence to do so many things, whether it's to, say no to some things you always would say yes to, or, ask
Yeah.
promotion at work, or break up with a crappy boyfriend, or, you know, it sounds silly, but it's like you have the confidence. You trust yourself more because
Yeah.
you're building that muscle, you're feeling stronger, you're feeling better, you're more confident, and just overall your energy is better.
Yeah.
It just
What's
brings
one thing that the fitness industry gets completely wrong about women over 40?
well, I was going to say what you already mentioned about getting bulky.
Yeah.
And yeah, everybody, most clients are like, I just want to get toned. I don't want to get bulky. And like we just said, that doesn't happen accidentally. I've been training for over 10 years and I'm still not bulky. And I realize some people, bulky looks different to everybody, but
Mhm.
you can accidentally get bulky because number one, you're a woman and that would take hours of training. So I think it just paints this negative picture of just getting toned instead of strong. There's a whole
Mhm.
spectrum of, what your body can look like or anybody's body
Mhm.
can look like. So telling people don't lift too heavy because you're going to look like a man or you're going to get bulky just kind of, really kind of pisses me off. Like, don't
Right.
tell me what to do. Don't tell me what I want, what I can do with my body and how I want to look.
Or even just assuming that muscles are inherently masculine.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's not attractive.
right. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
So I think
Okay.
the tide's turning a little bit, but yeah, just the fact that a lot of people and businesses prey on women's fear about becoming too bulky, don't
Yeah.
lift too heavy, do a lot of high reps with little tiny weights, and you'll get that toned look. And it's just, I think it's
Yeah.
a really old, outdated narrative. And if you actually want to look toned, you should train like you're trying to get bulky because that will actually give you a toned look and build muscle.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of
Mm.
the biggest misconceptions that people have. And, if you're going to the gym 2 times a week and lifting relatively heavy, you're not going to get bulky. It takes a lot more than that to do something like that. So.
What have you noticed about like the moment women have decided like I am going to just give myself permission to take up space?
It's really cool because I have a specific client in mind that we talk a lot about things like this. Like at first, she probably was training with me for at least a year and hadn't fully bought into the whole process. But once she did, it was like a light bulb, like a light switch. And she started focusing on, better nutrition and not really caring about what the scale says and focusing on like performance goals
Mm-hmm.
because she saw herself getting better and lifting heavier and heavier. And she's like, when I first started, if you would have told me I could deadlift 200 pounds, I would have said, no way. And now she's deadlifting over that. And we're working towards pull-ups and she just keeps going. She's like,
Mm.
she gets one goal and then we just keep going. So it's that leaving that, I guess that past version of yourself, that scale number that you've been focusing on so hard,
Yeah.
not trying to get back to that person, but just get to the best version of yourself now in
Mm-hmm.
this phase of life. So I think that's
Well,
really
and I think it's interesting, like when a lot of women would come into the gym, they would have a number in mind that was what success meant. Like the
mm,
scale's going to say this, and yet like 150 pounds, 200 pounds, whatever it is, like that looks so different based on how much muscle you have, like the
right. Your
age
body
that you're
type's
in, how much,
yeah.
like all of that makes such a, and so like they'll have this number in mind, and then they will just like no matter what, that's like the ultimate, like we aren't trying to be this like pubescent version of ourselves,
Mhm.
like that
Yeah.
shouldn't be the goal of like who we,
The four
yeah,
kids or the college
uh,
age or the
right,
25-year-old that
yes,
you were like, yeah, that number. And so if you say you get to that number, is that automatically going to make you happy?
yeah, yeah.
No.
And I think that's one of my job as a coach, your job as a coach, is we just keep saying, questioning, like what's the why behind the why behind the why behind the why,
Yeah. I
and
keep asking why.
eventually
Yeah.
yeah, like eventually we hear what the real limiting belief is, what's the story, and then for us to be able to tell, like ask, in one version or the other, like who benefits if you believe that, who benefits
Mhm.
from that shit?
Right.
And and
Right.
and
Why is
and
that number
is that,
so important to you? What does that
yeah,
mean?
yeah. And if so, like, is that a story that you're willing to just set the fuck down and figure out, maybe there's a different version.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of just, to me, the work that you do ties in so much to the importance of agency that we have over our bodies, over our space, for people who have had trauma in their past, for people who have,
Yep.
like, been belittled, like, professionally, because of whatever reason. Like, it's a way to feel like I get to control. It's like a lot of you and I both
Something
have
you can
tattoos,
control. Yeah.
like it's the I may not have been able to control in the past when I was hurt or how I was, but I get to control, like, how strong I am. I get to
Right. Exactly.
control,
And that,
like,
that a barbell does not lie. It's always, yeah, can you lift 200 pounds or can you not do that? That
yeah.
is, yeah, it's very
Mm,
honest. It's black and white, and you can control how strong
yeah.
you are, really. So
Yeah.
that should be so empowering for women to know you're so much stronger than you think.
Yes. Well,
So
and when we talk about, like, human needs, there's certainty and there's uncertainty. And some people are like, "Oh, I will take certainty all day long." And yet
right,
all
yes,
of us need uncertainty to a certain degree. So, like,
yes,
and some of us need more than others. But if we take uncertainty and we be like, like people who like roller coasters, that's like, it feels like an uncertainty or whatever.
oh
Like
yeah,
that's totally fine. But, like, one of the things that I love that you and I both did is, like, we walked away from the certainty of a paycheck, right? Like, we
yes,
were both like, it is more important to feel like we are in alignment with our favorite selves than
mhm,
to stay in this grind. So,
yeah,
when you did that, when you realized, like, oh, my life might look more stable on paper, but it
yep,
wasn't actually big enough for you anymore. Like what
right.
did that look like? When did you realize that?
I mean, I think I started thinking about that. I remember having thoughts probably 5 years before I ever took any action on it.
Hmm.
And because I had the same job for over,
It'll keep coming though, digging at you, digging at you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I just don't know. I know I want to do something else, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And then once I figured out it was personal training, I was like, oh, duh, of course I'm supposed to do this. I love to work out. And it's given so much to me and changed and shaped my life that once I made the decision, like I'm a quick decision maker. So I don't hesitate or dance
Once you have the
around.
clarity.
Yeah, once I had that clarity, I was like, yes, I'm going to do this and I'm going to figure out the steps to make it happen. And I left my day job within a year and a half. I was just training people at night while I was working during the day.
Hmm.
And I gave myself a goal. I said, yeah, June of, what was it? I think it was 2023. I said, I'm going to be done. I'm just going to go for it. And, cause then I got to the point where I was like, there's only so much bandwidth you have. And I was doing one job during the day and one at
Hmm.
night. And I like couldn't ever, they were competing. I couldn't ever give my
Yeah.
full effort to the personal training. So,
Well, and that brings up a good point, as far as, like, as we get older, that whole integration becomes so much more important to our brains. And so when you have this, like, professional identity and, like, being able to segment everything, silo everything,
yeah,
like, the integration becomes so important. And I'm sure that, like, in that last 3, 5 months or whatever of your W-2 job, that your body was like, I am losing my mind. Like, I'm
I
sure
was. I
yeah,
totally
like,
was. You're right. I was
yeah,
checked out and I was
yeah.
like, yeah. So I just picked a date. I was like, June 1st. I was like, this is happening. Yeah. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, I'm just going to have to take the leap and hope that I find some morning clients, and it all worked
Yeah.
out. And I did. So, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, I know I sent you some guiding questions, so I'm just spitballing here, but I think about women in general just saying yes to so many things that they don't actually want to say yes to. And so
Hmm.
then the easiest no becomes the things that we kind of set aside for ourselves, and
Right.
the space that, so for people who are not moving their bodies, who don't know where to begin, who think, like, I don't have time for this. I don't have money for this. I don't
Yeah.
have energy for this. I'm freaking tired. Like, I can't even sleep 4 hours a night. Like, what is
Right.
going on? Like what? what do you say that the idea of having any kind of fitness in their life feels like just like an alien?
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people don't like working out.
No.
That's, yeah, not everybody
Yeah.
likes it.
Oh my God. At the gym, they were like, okay, now after you do it so long, it becomes this addiction and you're going to love it. And I'm like, when the hell is that coming on? Just
Yeah.
anytime. Like,
Just to
I
know
am
it's happening.
ready.
Yeah.
Take
It's
me
like,
over, spirit. I am ready. Take me, take me.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I know. So I always tell people start super small. It doesn't have to be, because I think so many people get wrapped up in this. It has to be all or nothing. And you have to completely overhaul your life and fix your nutrition, work out 3 to 5 times a week, and manage your stress and get 8 hours of sleep and drink, 80 ounces of water and do all the things all at once. Pick one of them. Pick something that feels ridiculously easy. Like go outside and walk to the end of your block and back.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Try that every day for a week. See how you
Mm-hmm.
feel. Start small.
Well, and from a brain perspective, because that's the stuff that I find sexiest is how like our brains are not designed for our happiness at all. They don't care about our
Mhm.
happiness at all. They're designed to be prediction machines. And so if you start doing something strange, like walking to the corner, like why would you do that when you're perfectly fine and safe already in the confines of your own house? It's like playing golf. Why would you hit a ball and then have to go
Yeah.
chase it? This makes no sense. But
Yeah.
but your brain will sabotage that shit all day long because it's
Yep.
like, no, like safety is here and everything that we already know. We don't need to experiment. We don't need to grow. We don't need to try. But
Yeah.
then if you do find a way to take those micro experiments, micro challenges, micro goals that
Mhm.
still like little by little, your brain was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that
You're
makes
like,
sense.
yeah, that
Okay.
wasn't too
We
bad. That wasn't
and
too
we
off.
survived and the tiger did not jump out of the woods and eat our face. Like
Yeah.
how amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to let you do this one. I'll give you that win. All right. And then you just keep like compounding it. It's like
Yeah.
a reverse onion theory or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly. It's
Mm,
you think you have to do all this stuff at once. That's
mhm.
why when I first meet a new prospective client, they're like, well, how many times a week should I come see you? I would like to get in here 3 times a week. And I'm like, wait. Maybe let's start with 1 or 2 and make sure you can be consistent with that. So you
Mhm.
don't get so overwhelmed and your brain doesn't sabotage you and say, no, we can't do it. That's too much. So
Mhm.
yeah, starting very small, whether that's maybe you go up and down your stairs in your house a few times a day.
Yeah.
Maybe you do some squats to a chair, 3 sets of 10. Maybe you do that. Maybe you just focus on making yourself a healthy breakfast.
Mhm.
Small things like that. Or maybe it's just taking 5 minutes a day to, lock yourself in your bathroom and kind of decompress,
Yeah.
get away from the kids and family and whatever, just to have some you time to kind of reset and, or journal or gratitude, something
Yeah.
like that. So it's pick one thing. And then once you feel better from that, or that becomes like second nature, add another small thing. So you
Yeah.
got your walk down the block, then start making a healthy breakfast. Then maybe you focus
Or
on
eat breakfast at all. Like,
eat some breakfast. Yeah, please. Maybe you go to bed like 15 minutes earlier,
yes.
because sleep is super important too. So it's, yeah, just tiny, tiny changes to start. And then you'll just add those. And like you said, it's compounds over time. And that way you're not overwhelmed and you don't quit. And that's why, like, I hate the thing, like the 75 hard thing. Like, no, because
Yeah.
if you can get through 75 days of that, then it's like, nobody's going to keep up with that for the rest of their life. So it's like,
No.
why start something that you can't see yourself doing for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
It just doesn't
Well,
make
and as counterintuitive as it may feel to people out there, like there are times when the best thing that you can do for your body or your mind is rest,
Mhm.
and I've been lucky enough that the people that I have known in the fitness industry, like you, like aren't about just like balls to the wall, just burn it all down.
Yeah.
It really is like if it isn't sustainable,
No,
then you won't stick with it. And if it isn't fun, if it isn't like
right. Exactly.
like
I'm
I
not
remember when
trying to crush my clients and just make them sweaty and breathless and tired and
yeah,
exhausted. They're not going to want to come back. That's not fun.
right.
You don't feel
Yeah,
good. You don't feel like you accomplished something and you got better. You just got tired. So,
right.
And then, yeah, that's not going to help. Like you said, maybe you need to focus on your sleep first. Sleep,
Yeah.
honestly, would be number one. If your sleep is not great, focus on that first.
Okay, you could just say,
Yeah.
Kirsten, you need to sleep better. Like you don't have to just like be
Yeah.
all vague about it. Like I know you're talking to me,
Which I know is a
right?
in this phase of life because
Oh, it is like,
good
yeah. And
sleep.
then your
Yeah.
brain
So,
just like 8,000 tabs open all the time. Like it,
yeah.
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 So,
I
well,
know.
I'm just so freaking glad that I got to see your beautiful face. And
Thanks. Me too. This was
this,
amazing.
yes, like thank you for all the work you've done. Thank you for modeling what dreaming a dream can look like. And I think the more of us do that in a variety of ways, the easier it is for other people to kind of give themselves permission to just kind of dream the big dream and figure
Yeah.
out like, okay, like this is how I can do it and I can do it my own way. And, you
Right.
know, like I think that's one of the fun things about choosing like Bum Diggity as a ridiculous last name is like it doesn't I never want anybody to become more like me. I just want people to realize that they can be more like them. And most of the time, all of us were that way originally. We just kind of got
Right.
it
And then,
knocked the
yeah, we
hell
got
out of our,
all these
yeah,
side roads. And
yeah,
yeah, I feel like, yeah, I'm coming back to more of myself
yeah,
now
yeah, yeah. So
than
welcome
ever
home.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Momo. You're amazing. And
Yes.
then
Thank you.
I'll,
This was
I'll put all your
awesome.
contact information in the show notes. But is there any like thing you want to give a shout out to or whatever while we're still in the recording time?
Oh gosh. Sure. I'll shout out my studio where I work, Studio Fitness in Fishers.
That
Um,
would be Indiana.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Fishers,
yeah,
Indiana. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
All the other
And
people listening.
wonderful, wonderful. Well, and I know that you were going to share this with your people. So I
Yep.
just, on behalf of all of them, especially, you know, thank you for finding that dream and sticking to it so that you could build this legacy where people just get to be themselves. And
Yep.
I know how important it is to find that person that you can feel really vulnerable with when you're doing that. You know,
Yeah.
fitness work,
It is.
especially
Yeah.
for
The
people who
gym.
have a trauma background, it
Yeah.
can
The
be
gym can be a
very
scary place. Yeah.
triggering. And so
Yep.
to find somebody that you feel safe with is huge. And the way that you lead with strength, but that you also lead with love is really important. And so thank you for being such a beautiful guiding light for people in that.
Thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you.
Yes.
Right back at you.
All right. Okay. We'll see you next week on Feral Error for women over 40. And just until then, just keep being strong and lifting heavy shit.
That's right.